Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, HollywoodShono here, about to give you a brand new game to my channel called Disgaea RPG. Now, a lot of you guys might not be familiar with this series, however, it is a very deep RPG that came from Japan, has many spin-offs on many various systems, including the Nintendo Switch, which will be coming out on June 30th, 2021, and for no other platform except for the PlayStation 4 in Japan. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about some tips and tricks that every new player should follow. This game is very complex and may be a lot for new players to take in, so let me try to help you with that. First off, your Stronghold is your network that connects everything together. Always complete the new character challenges that come up, especially the first one, because you're going to get a 4-star Etna from that. You're also going to be getting all the gifts that you receive in this little box right here. So you want to claim all of these. Now also, if you do daily objectives, you'll also have one to claim AP, which you only want to hit when necessary. As you can see here, I have 2 AP 150s. Don't use them unless you actually need them. And keep in mind, your AP can save for up to 3 months, so you don't have to use it right away. You could raise your AP cap up to 150, assuming you play the game enough within 3 months, and get it up from there. Further clears, as you can see, will give you a nice chunk of nether quartz. So you definitely want to be doing the Rasburl's homework to get 300 nether quartz and some other things. That way you can do some summoning and expand your capabilities. Second thing that I stress all new players to do. You need friends to do things in this game. For example, you can claim sardines and you can give sardines. Do not be afraid to get rid of people that haven't logged in for a day. And you can kind of see this by them not giving sardines. Dodge Hunt, for example, we're going to delete that guy because he doesn't play clearly enough. And also, if you want to add me as a friend, my player ID is 5198541119. I will have this in the description of the video at the very top and also as a pinned comment so you guys can add me directly. I'll keep a few friend spots open for the next 12 hours. I'll let you guys add me. And if you guys play the game, leave your friend code down below. Make sure you have a spot, and I will send a request for the first 24 hours of this video. Third thing I want to talk about is that you should be progressing the main story as much as possible. Currently, I'm in episode 4 of the story, and I'll get further beyond that. Very important to complete the main story because you have to get Mao's Lab and Dark Assembly by completing Chapter 1. And you will also get the item world once you unlock Chapter 3, which is another thing we'll talk about later in this video. Conquest Battle, which you unlock after completing Chapter 5, is going to take a few days. I still haven't unlocked it, as I'm only in Chapter 4. And the Overlord's Tower unlocks after Chapter 7. And I imagine this is just another game mode to test your skills. And something that's probably not going to be easy. Probably going to be a week or so before you actually get out here, if you play the game several hours a day and focus on one team and upgrading your people. Now, fourth off, like you saw from the gift box, you're going to get a lot of free nether quartz just by playing the game. If you're familiar with King of Fighters All-Star, it works exactly like this. You get a bunch of free currency until you complete all of the events, and then it slows down to a snail's pace. Unless there's a specific character that you want to NE10, which is what separates free-to-play players from the whales, do not blow all of your nether quartz. Use this currency for other things. For example, in the shop, you'll notice that there's an NE Prinny, which costs 5,000. If you feel that an NE1 ability is going to help you considerably, you could use 5,000 nether quartz on that, and I feel it's okay. If it greatly benefits your team, you should probably go for it. Now, the next thing I'd like to talk about, if you're watching this video while the Magical Holy Night event is active, I feel that this character is a great one to actually pick up. And you could probably get 2 or 3 copies of Noel easily before the event ends, as you only need 150,000. Even if you just do the daily missions every single day to get the 30 nether quartz, if you clear 4 Christmas on easy, which is the last stage, you will get all of this stuff, including event points and nether quartz, just for playing the game for free. And if you clear various portions of the game, you will also get more event points. And as you obtain event points, you are also going to get more nether quartz, making this a nice source of getting nether quartz once you've cleared out the campaign. And they give you a lot for getting all the way up to 1.5 million. So they're thinking about the whales. They're thinking about the free-to-play players as well, because this is a nice source of free currency. Now, as far as normal difficulty goes, you probably want to have your characters reincarnated 3 times. As you see, the enemy level is 300. And it's probably not something you're going to complete until your characters are at least level 300. And keep in mind, as you progress through the campaign, the enemies are going to get higher level. So we're talking 400, 500. So you probably want to wait until you reincarnate you guys 4 times in order to do that. But with 4 days left to go, if you're playing this game constantly, blowing your AP, upgrading your items, you should have no problem getting normal done within 4 days. The next thing I want to talk about, which is really, really important, is pick 5 characters and stick with them. Don't be swapping people in, especially level 40, level 50s. You kind of want to build a team and stick with it. Now, there might be an exception. For example, if you pick up Fallen Angel Fion, where you get 5% more XP and all allies are healed for 20% more. Not to mention, once you get Noel, you probably want to swap Noel out, because every time a turn begins, you get 6% of max HP. You will get 7.2% if you slot in Fallen Angel Fion, and that could help you out quite a bit. If you have 50,000 health, 7% is quite a few thousand and definitely worth doing. Now, some other things that I recommend is going through all of the skills and even going through some of the weapon skills and find abilities that work for you. You probably want to get at least 1 character with an AoE, if not 2. If your whole team has AoEs, that's even better. Also, pay attention to the weapon masters, because every character will specialize in different things. 1 character could be really good with swords. 1 character could be good with fist weapons. 1 character could be good with spears. That's not a bow. I made that mistake. 1 character could be good with bows, guns, axes, wands, and the monster weapons. Like Milo can use a sword, he can also use a staff, and there's also monster weapons that various people can use. Like, for example, Raspberry. That is 1 of 11. So right here, as you can see, paw gloves need to go. So we're going to swap that out for a useless metal, because her skill ability will go up to 11. And as you can see, by having the spells all the way up to 30, you get various other abilities. Now, as you can see, the cap is 11 currently, but there is a catch for that. If you go into the facility and Milo's lab, you can allocate mana. This is pretty important, because not only can you cheat the stats, you could also cheat the weapon masteries, and this is how you upgrade your weapon masteries above 10. And you can get them all the way up to 30. You have a lot of mana to go through. And there's also mana potions that you can use if you have them. I don't know how to get them. I imagine it's going to be a pretty hard resource. Each character has their own mana pool. I don't know if you have to like restart the character and you get to keep the mana. I don't know how that process is. Another thing I'm going to talk about, Awakening. This is where you're going to spend the most of your HL. And by that, if you're upgrading a 1-star to a 2-star, you're only going to need 5,000 HL. You can probably get that in a couple fights. For a 2-star character, if you want to take them up to 3 stars, you're going to need 10,000 HL, which again is not that much. Now is where it gets a little bit more pricey. Taking a 3-star up to 4 stars, 50,000 HL. If you take a 4-star up to 5 stars, it's 100,000 HL. And a 5-star to 6 stars is 500,000 HL. If you're familiar with Raid Shadow Legends, the format is kind of the same, except you don't have to level people up in order to awaken them. And I feel that's a little bit better, because it's kind of redundant having to level them up to 20, level to 30, 40, 50, just to be able to send them to 6 stars. And obviously the benefit of having characters at higher star levels is that you're going to get more stats. So you can see 4,000 more health, about 1,400 more attack, about 1,000 more defense, 1,400 int, about 1,300 more resistance, no more speed. Speed is a hard stat to get up. If you can find gear that increases your speed, that might make slower characters like Raspberry actually able to react a little bit faster. And remember, Awakening, huge benefit is higher stats, which will make battles easier, especially if you're not over level. If you're a level 150 trying to fight level 300 mobs, your start level and gear is going to play a big factor into that. While Disgaea RPG at this time only has 6-star characters, this doesn't mean they won't improve the start level later on, especially if expansions of the story drastically increase the progression. For example, if they have main story chapter 2, main story chapter 3, chapter 4, depending on how well the game goes is probably how they're going to do it, and they might stagger some stuff over time. The next thing I want to talk about is the item world. This is a really, really big one. There's a couple things that you need to look out for. First off, you need to look at the rank of the gear. And this plays a big part to whether you can actually upgrade it or not, or if you're going to get destroyed trying. Let's take a level 13 rank rare And we're going to go to the item world with my A-team. So you can see the enemies have about 14,000 health. This might actually be doable now that I've leveled up a bit. So we're just going to quickly auto-battle this and get through the fight. Yeah, this is definitely doable. I might lose Raspberry here. And if I do, that's okay. The reason Raspberry is quite a bit weaker is I don't have any legendary gear on Raspberry. But Dark Santa, Laharo, Mao, and even regular Laharo all have gear. Unfortunately, Noel does not. I probably should to increase the HP because that influences the heal over time. As you can see, we're actually doing this fight pretty well. The last time I tried doing rank 13, before I had characters reincarnated, I got destroyed. But I'll show you guys another fight where your characters might get destroyed trying to use the item world. Yeah, good to know that I can get this staff upgraded now. I was kind of surprised, because the last time I tried to run this yesterday, I got destroyed. And that's where upgrading your characters, especially reincarnation and level ups, and even star level, can make a big difference. Finally, Raspberry goes down there, but we're going to be able to wipe out these last guys pretty easily. I can show you guys how the stats go up as you upgrade gear as well. And you're going to be spending a lot of time doing item world. So now we complete the stage. Also keep in mind, if you have no AP and you're super close to ranking up, you can play in the item world, even level up common gears, and still push that rank up. So there is a lot of grinding to do in Disgaea RPG. It is a lot more complex. So here you can see the int goes from 1644 to 1658, and the resistance 411 to 424. If your character is an int-based character, even 14 ints is going to make a big deal. So we're going to leave the item world there. I believe the highest rank gear I have, it's actually armor. Let's find one where I get destroyed. So if you're going for a rank 18 gear, watch what happens to my team. This is why it makes a lot of importance to actually look at the item level. Now you can see I'm getting destroyed basically one shot. And there's a difference between a legendary at rank 5 and a legendary at rank 18. The fact that I'm not getting one shot means that I'm not that far off from doing these fights. We still have a long way to go. I want to do this for demonstration. That rank is very important to watch for in your gear. So now we're going to take this diploma, which is level 3, rank 7. And you're going to see the difference in how much easier it is when you have low rank gear that you're trying to upgrade. You can see we basically just one-shot them. Now your item rank is probably influenced your character level. I don't know the whole formula for it. But as you can tell with that rod, I'm about that power level. So I'm assuming if you're reincarnated about 5 times, you could probably do rank 18 just fine. Progress through the story, upgrade your shop rank as much as you can, and it's going to be very important for getting higher quality equipment, which will rank up a bit faster. Which is why the rarity matters. Because the higher your rarity, the more stats it's going to have. So if you have a common rank 1 gear and a common rank 10 gear, the rank 10 is going to have far better stats. So now we completed that fight. It's got weapon mastery up there, which is good. So you can see the stats, not really that much, only a couple points. But even those 2 points, multiply it by 100, could be the difference between surviving and losing a fight. So it is worth it while your AP is full, like mine is doing this video, to actually go in the item world and level people up. So you can see a rank 13 gear is a lot harder to upgrade than a rank 18. And these rank 3 legendary swords, or even the rank 5 sword, is going to be easy to upgrade, but it's not going to give you a lot of stats. So keep that in mind, that the rank of the item is going to influence how strong it actually is. Rarity obviously is going to have better stuff influence it. There's some other stuff involving innocence that you can capture once in a while. I think you have to have a weapon that actually has that in order to capture them. I'm not really sure. I don't know a whole lot about that. Somebody might be able to explain that a little better. And the reason this game mode is extremely important is because it is the best way for your characters to survive after reincarnating. While your stats will be next to nothing, your gear never levels down. So those 2,400 HP legendaries you can't upgrade because they are rarity 17 are very useful. Take a level 300 versus a level 1. and you'll do 1,000,000 damage, but someone with equal stats will be harder to deal with, so you'll be trading blows for several rounds. But for stats that are at a huge disadvantage, like you saw in the rank 17, the enemy will just overrun you. Ninth thing that I have to stress about, and I was pointed out yesterday while I was playing, do not waste AP. If you're doing Magical Holy Knight on easy difficulty, you should probably not grind the fights except for the dailies. My advice as far as spending AP is two things. You can either go to the Dark Gates and do it where you can spend AP really quick in a short period of time, or you can continue to progress the main story. And I'm going to do a fight just to show you guys really quick while we talk about a couple things here. If you need to spend it down quickly so you can focus on item levels, either complete battles on normal or hard, or progress through the campaign, or just run the Dark Gates. The HL and EXP require 20 at low levels, and the reincarnate materials take 10. You need all of these resources. And EXP gate is essential for fresh reincarnates, and if you're doing it right, you stagger the reincarnates over 2 to 3 fights, so you can still clear gate of XP2 if you reincarnate twice or more. Always do the fights that yield the most EXP and HL where possible, since you'll always be leveling up. Leveling up means that you'll have more friends to send out sardines to, and the more friends you have, the more sardines you can get for free. I don't think this mechanic is a big deal considering that you recharge AP every 2 minutes. If they change this to where they recharge AP every 10 minutes, then I can see the sardines being a little bit more useful. But I feel that if you're recharging energy every 2 minutes, and this might be a launch thing, they might slow it down over time and make it more annoying. For new players, getting 1 AP every 2 minutes is not that big of a deal because it'll take about 2.5 hours just to fill back up. And that's not that bad. So once we finish this fight, I have a few more things that I want to talk about, including the shop. We're going to go over some of the stuff within the shop. And you really don't get a lot of HL for completing battles. So that's why saving your HL is pretty important. Don't do like me and spend 500,000 ascending characters. Even though you need to do it to get some 5 stars, it's expensive. So now we're in the shop. Here you can buy your nether quartz. If you don't want to be a free-to-play and you want to be a whale, you can buy all the nether quartz that you want. Obviously, you want to go for the free offers where possible, but it depends on how much your mommy lets you spend money. Also, in the item shop, you can buy a lot of things from nether quartz. Again, the NE printing that we talked about earlier is really important. You can also get subdued tickets. You can get other things to make it easier to pass bills in the Senate. This is another reason you don't want to blow all of your nether quartz. You can also purchase AP. Again, until the AP regen is actually a bit slower, I don't think these are worth buying, but I could be wrong. If you're using a lot of skip tickets, then it doesn't really matter. I haven't used skip tickets, so I haven't felt the need to do that. This is the tab that you're going to be spending the most time on. You're going to want to look through all of your gear. I've already done this, so you're not going to be able to see it. And you're going to want to go through all your gear. If you see any rares or legendaries, it doesn't matter how many upgrades you have or don't have. You probably should buy them. Now, if you're seeing common gear, let's take a look at a common bandana 1. Has 10 defense and nothing else. Now, if we look at a bandana rarity 39, you can see it has 11 defense and populated 2 out of 3 with innocence. You want to pay attention to some of those stats. Or even on the Festival Happy Hour, 20 defense and a rank 2 has 18. It's not a lot, but you're going to get a couple more points when you're running item levels. So that's pretty important to pay attention to the shop. If you feel the desire to spend money on this game, you can purchase nether quartz, but this game is also free-to-play friendly. Yes, there is an advantage to having NE ranks, but you can enjoy the game just fine if you play the game normal. Item tab has all kinds of things you can buy in limited quantity. However, in my opinion, the equipment tab is the one you want to pay attention to the most. Pay attention to the item rank, the stats each weapon gives, and fish out the rares and legendaries. The higher the item rank, the more difficult opponents you will face to rank it up, but the stronger it'll be. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the Nether Hospital. Every 8 hours, you will be able to do something called the Doping Roulette. You can get between 5 and 200 AP every 8 hours from doing this. You can also claim rewards, like I'm going to get 10,000 HL because I wiped. I lost 50 members. You can also see where your rankings are. Obviously, if you're defeated and party wipeouts are rank 1, you're doing something wrong in the game. But I'm sure there is somebody out there that's pushing to just wipe themselves out on purpose to be number 1. Don't be that guy. But yes, there are rewards for actually clearing this stuff out. And you can see there are goals for other things. AP Potions HL Nether Quartz. It is worth taking damage, and yeah, wiping does give you rewards, but I don't recommend doing that. Next thing I want to talk about is summoning. Every 24 hours you're going to get a free premium summon. Is it really premium? No, because the drop rates are horrible in this game. Now obviously the Prism Red Power Rangers are pretty cool. You can get them from the basic. You can also get wrestlers. You can get pirates. Every character will upgrade into another variant. And then obviously the 4-star exclusive don't upgrade into anything else because they are the premium characters. So the guaranteed rates, yeah, they're pretty bad. However, there are limited time summons that you can also take advantage of. Like Dark Santa Lahara is a good one. He's also really good at any one because he does gain some extra benefits. You're likely to get a 2-star and an 80% chance, and you have a 17% chance of getting a 3-star and a 3% chance to get a 4-star. In the paid offers, you actually have a 4.5% chance to get a 4-star. However, that's the only benefit is you have a higher chance of getting 4-stars. If you have a bunch of nether quartz laying around, or you want to target a certain summon, like Dark Santa Lahara, if you want to also target Usala and Fenric, as you can see from the Evil Tea, every stat except speed, just for having them on the team, for humanoid allies, goes up 11%. This is a huge stat because you can see I have 4,482 attack, so 11% of that is about another 500 attack. That could be the difference between wiping and doing well. Same thing with the defense, int, and resistance. Having more of those stats is good. Now what you can see by having Evil T1, now the chest drop rate increases by 5%. So that means you're going to get more reincarnate materials. That means you're going to get more printies to sacrifice. I think this is a good one to go after, especially for any one. I think for the free-to-play players, getting him again or using the printy on him is probably going to be good for a new player. You could also stack the rogue and get more chest drops. I think both of them are going to be good for long-term progression. And this obviously is where the whales have an advantage, going after multiple Dark Santa Laharas, whereas someone like myself would probably stop after getting him once to focus on other summons. If you do spend nether quartz on the paid offers, I would go after Fallen Angel Fione in the Disgaea 1 and 2 pickup summon. So the reason I like Fallen Angel Fione is you get 5% XP for the sub Evil Tea, which I already have her at any one. But also, all allies are healed 20%. If you stack that with Noel, who heals 6% of max HP, it's just basically a bigger heal and a no-brainer. You can then put a rod on Fallen Angel Fione, and then you have a target heal, and if you get up to 15 by putting mana into the staff skill, then you have a bigger heal. She is just a really good healer. It's somebody I recommend having on the team, probably somebody I would put in over Razbarrel, because also her Love Knuckle does massive damage. Where do I recommend getting her at? If you go to this Disgaea 1 and 2 summon, you are going to have to pay to get it, unfortunately. But this is the best chance of getting Fallen Angel Fione. You're guaranteed 1 4-star if you pay for 1,500 of these gems. Do I recommend paying 1,500? No. But if you're going to spend money on the game, this is where I would spend it at. Right here, get Fallen Angel Fione. I'm sure there's going to be people that disagree with me on that. Let's face it, having heals, especially if your team is not over leveled, is a big deal between 3-starring content or having to redo it. Trust me on that. I've played RPGs enough. You have to have healers on your team. Second to last thing that I want to talk about is the Dark Assembly. This is going to be pretty essential. You have to increase the RQ Shop customer rank as much as you possibly can. When I completed Chapter 3 of the campaign, I also got something to increase my max AP by 5. Not a big deal. And there's going to be other things that show up in here that are a big deal. But remember, any points are better than no points. And if you know how to manage your energy well, if it fills up your whole energy, or if you get 100 energy for leveling up, well, you're not wasting AP. And this is one of the biggest things. Do not waste AP, because it recharges once every 2 minutes, which is really fast. It makes it harder to manage and spend down. If you need to spend it down quickly, you can focus on item levels, either complete battles on normal and hard, which use more AP, or run Dark Gates, HL, and EXP require 20 at low levels, and Reincarnate takes 10. You need all these resources. I talked about it before, but I'm going to hash that back in. Don't waste AP, especially if you're playing the game a lot. Finally, if you go into Mao's lab and reincarnate to increase the max level. I can't do that yet, but this is the best way to actually progress in the game. It is a time sink. Just realize that. And that's where using the EXP daily when you're reincarnating is the best way to reincarnate, because you don't sacrifice your characters and you get the most possible XP. And this is why it's important to just level up one team and stick with it. Once you have characters at level 9999 and 6 star, then it makes more sense to spread your roster out. Build a monster team, build a human team, build a pretty team, build a female team. Because I have a feeling that eventually they're going to bring a faction-style game mode in like Raid Shadow Legends, which will restrict your roster and what you can use. But until then, you should only focus on one team. So that's going to be it for this tips and tricks video. If this video helped you out, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe. Follow me on Twitch at HollywoodShono. If you have a Twitch Prime sub, HollywoodShono will gladly take it off your hands. If you plan on buying Manscaped products, code SHONO20 for 20% off. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, kids. Your balls will thank you.
www.youtube.com/HollywoodShono. Subscribe, bitches!